Aaron,
Hi, Ken.
how are you?
Good.
Hey Ken, how are you?
Good. Everybody should get extra points, extra ABRF points for being here at 4 o'clock on a Friday. Oh my gosh. Who scheduled this meeting? Boy, I guess I did. Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
next year we'll get 500 points for the app.
Right, exactly. Perfect, Dan. I love the way you're thinking. Great.
It's a holiday here, stat holiday here in Canada.
I know it is in different places, sure. Bonus points. Get enough points, you get a drink ticket, right? We'll wait just a few more minutes just in case anyone else is able to join. We will record. So for those who can't join us, send it on. Hi, Ryan. How are you? Are you going to be our lead today?
Hello, I am not your lead today. I'm just going to be in the background, observing Christina.
Okay.
But
I'm
it's
glad you're
nice
here.
to
Thanks
meet
for
all of
joining.
you. Yes, nice to meet you guys.
Well, that must be Christina.
Hello, everyone.
How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Okay. On a late Friday afternoon, at least here on the East Coast, if that's where you are.
I'm in Texas, so I'm just an hour behind.
Nobody else from Texas I don't on yet. Maybe. Wait a minute. On screen, I can't see. Let's see. Jean, Jen. Oh, no, nobody else from Texas. So
Okay, just me.
we have we started a new chapter last year that's anchored in Texas, but it represents the region.
Gotcha.
So they had so we'll join, but we are recording, so we can share it with those who aren't able to join us today. Why don't we give it another minute just in case, you got that ping at the top of the hour from your computer that says you have a call now. Oh, wait, what's the I know that's how my life works.
Same. But yeah, we can give it a little bit more time. That gives me just a couple more seconds to make sure I've got everything set up.
How are you? Thanks for joining. Let's see. Let's see. I've got all the chapters represented. Let's see. We got Whacked, Caesar, Medsci, Midwest, Neuroskid, SC3. I think that's the only one we're missing. All right. Don't mess with Texas. And the rest of us. Well, if we're comfortable, why don't we just go ahead and get started? Is that okay with everybody? Good. So everybody knows who I am. I don't think it's necessary to go around and do introductions, but we can do that if we want to. Christina, as I said, nearly all of our regional chapters are represented here, so that's fantastic. Thank you all for making the time to learn more about the Results Direct app that ABRF uses and how you might be able to use it for your chapter meetings. This is the exact same app that, for those of you who were at the annual meeting last month, it's the exact same functionality. We're just adding events within that. Of course, we have the one event now, the annual meeting, but for those chapters who choose to add it to for their meetings, of course, there would just be additional events within the instance of the app. So Christina is going to go over the features again for those who didn't experience it during the annual meeting, and then happy to take questions. If if we accumulate questions and have to have a follow-on session, we'll work with Results Direct, the developers of the app, and Christina's team to set that up as well. Okay. So anything else folks want to say before we turn it over to Christina? All right. Thank you. It's all yours.
Thank you. Well, hi, everyone. It's nice to meet you. As you guys know, my name is Christina. I'm the Senior Product Specialist here at RD Mobile. We are going to be talking about the RD Mobile app back office. There's going to be quite a bit of information that I'm going to give you guys today, but not to worry. We do have some help documentation that you'll be able to follow along. So between this recording and the help documentation, I promise you guys will be good to go. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to be so honest. I'm really used to using Teams and not Zoom. So if this seems a little clunky, I promise I know how to use computers. It's just I'm better at Teams. So let me share my screen. And of course, I don't know where the button is because I'm looking for where Teams lives. Oh, there it is. Share, right?
Right in the middle, the green one. Yeah.
It really was right in the middle. That's spicy. Alrighty, so hopefully you guys see my web browser, you see Safari?
Yep.
Perfect. Alrighty, so this is the RD Mobile app back office. I know that none of you guys have seen it, so it's all brand new, but I promise you, it's not too complicated. The first thing I want to direct your attention to is going to be this Help Central button right up here at the top. Help Central is a great resource because it gives you access to our knowledge base. It gives you the ability to email support with technical and how-to questions. It also gives you the option to report an outage if you guys were to notice something like a critical issue. So let's say the app back office crashes and you can't get in, or the app just isn't working. It gives you a way to reach out to us day or night, regardless of the day. And it's a way that we get reports. It sends it right to IT. They check our database. If it's not an IT issue, then it comes straight to my team. And you're normally looking at a response between 5 to 7 minutes. If you guys have technical and how-to questions and you email support, your standard response time for these is going to be about 4 hours. The support team is available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. So any questions that we receive after 5 p.m., we answer the next day. And then we also have the knowledge base. So this is a comprehensive collection of all of our help documentation to get you through from point A to Z and to infinity and beyond. If we scroll down, we have what's called collections and guides. So these are kind of like curated assortments of articles. Think of these as like going through the entire customer journey, right? So this is like the sales process. What is RD? What are our products? What do we even do? We list these out in detail here. Creating a new event. This is truly step by step, button by button, what you click. So I'm going to give you a lot of information today. And if it's confusing, I apologize because it is a lot. But the nice thing is with the recording in these help documents, if you go through them in order, and then you go from each collection in order, you'll go from not knowing what this is, if you've never used the app before, to having an event set to best practices. That's going to be a great experience for any and all of your attendees. After today's call, if you guys have additional questions, you can always ask them. But I always recommend looking at the help articles first because I can guarantee you the answers are normally here. A lot of these articles have been written by the team. A lot of them have been written by me too. So sometimes if you ask me a question, this is actually where I refer to get help as well.
Hey, Christina, can I jump in and ask a question? Sorry to interrupt. So in case it's on my mind. How do we get here? Is this a credentialing based, role based type of platform that we'll register folks for?
So you beat me to the punch. That was actually my next thing.
Sorry,
No, it's okay. No, the good thing is that we're thinking parallels right here. So perfect. So the knowledge base itself, that is publicly available. And one of the reasons why it's publicly available is if you guys have folks that are working a registration desk, but don't or shouldn't have access to the back office, they can still pull help documentation to kind of help troubleshoot attendee issues. Now, the app back office, this does require credentials. So right now, we have one admin in here. We have Kate, who I had the pleasure of working with. But we are able to add an unlimited amount of administrators. So these are people that can have access to everything in the back office. We also have the ability to add in what's called an event manager. Event managers are assigned and only have access to a specific event. So the nice thing here, and Ken, I could actually set you up as an admin as an example for our recording. So adding an admin is pretty easy. We click Add Administrator. We need a few key pieces of information. We're going to need an email address, first name, last name, and a title. And Ken, could you remind me, what is your title?
Executive Director?
Okay.
Plate spinner, that doesn't fit in the, oh, that's a big line. We can put that in there.
Yes, we can.
Not this time.
as creative as a title as you'd like. And then we have our roles. So again, admin has access to everything. An event manager, they have to be assigned to an event that already exists. But for Ken, we'll give him admin access. The nice thing in this admin area is once you get set up, it is going to send over a password reset email. And then from here, let's say I wanted to mess with Ken and remove him. I could. I can do this as a super admin at RD Mobile, but Ken could also do this as well. Ken can also, I can come in and edit Ken's profile. He can edit his own or others. Every about 90 days or so, the system is going to send you a validation email. And it's just to make sure that you should still have access to the back office. If for any reason a validation email, you go to log in and it says, hey, you need to be validated, and you're not finding it in your inbox, someone else can log in and manually validate your credentials for you. And we can also do a password reset. So Ken, I will leave it on to you to add in all of the volunteers. I promise you, it's a very easy process. We're going to skip user management and organization roles. That's not a part of your current product license, so we can just ignore it. And we can go into organization info because I want to highlight a key thing here. So ABRF is hosted in a dedicated app, meaning that it has its own standalone listing within the iOS and Android app stores. So in this dedicated app settings area here, if we click view, we can see the information for the App Store listing. So if I were to go into the App Store and I look for ABRF, this is what I'm going to find. The nice thing as well is we do have a feature called invitation emails. It's a way to invite attendees to the event. It points directly to the dedicated app. So it makes life really easy as far as getting your attendees to log in, access the app, and view all the event content. I'm going to follow my breadcrumbs up at the top, and we're going to come out of organization info, and we're going to hop into events. Now, you guys are really lucky because if we click view all, and I apologize because of course my internet is running slow when I'm on a call, you guys have an example of a successful event. So as you guys are building out future events, what I'd recommend, along with having this recording and using the help documentation, refer back to the annual meeting. That's going to give you just a concrete example of what to do, how to do. And it's also something that's already published. So it's visible within the app. So you guys can really have a standard of how you want your future events to look. Nonetheless, we're going to walk through what it looks like to add an event. So you are presented with 3 templates here. These are not hard-coded differences. They are simply just different menu configurations. Pro tip, and this is the one that I always go with, is the conference template. This has the best options. It allows you to make the most manipulations, and it's the easiest one. If you make enough changes to the conference template, you can end up with virtual or seminar, so you might as well start here. If we click create, this takes us to the framework of our event. So you have your event name. It says 16 characters or fewer recommended. We can keep it to about 50. If it gets too long, you have to remember there's truncated space on, mobile devices, and it does have a character cutoff. I think it's at it's around 75-ish. So I always say keep your event name short and sweet and simple if you can. External key. This is going to be your GUID or your event identifier in Cvent. So if we're importing registrants, that data connector is already set up. So if you take all your registrants from Cvent and you're like, how do I get them in here? You take that GUID from Cvent, pop it in the back office. What'll happen is in about an hour, our system is going to query Cvent and import your registrants. This happens every 60 minutes from the moment you put in that key. The day before the event begins, the frequency increases to every 15 minutes. That continues on until your event ends. Then we go back to the default frequency for 14 days. Day 15, we stop importing registrants. The timer that predicts when the integration should increase its frequency, it's controlled by these dates right here, which control the first and last day of your event. You also want to make sure that you select a time zone. And if your event is in person, you want to make sure that the app users see the times based on the venue's time zone, which is controlled by this function here. If you allow app users to see the time in their own time zone, let's say your event is on the East Coast and you have people coming from the West Coast and from Central. Well, they might be 1 or 2 hours behind, maybe 3, depending on where they're coming from. We have a designated support email address. This is mandatory. In the event that your attendees have questions and they reach out to us, this is who we're going to go to if we have a speaker change, room change, something like that, and we just don't know. If it's a technical issue, of course, we handle it. And then you have optional information here. And then you have an event logo. For all of the images that you see in the back office, you're going to see a recommended size in parentheses. Be aware, sometimes it's a little confusing because you're like, what is an aspect ratio of 2 to 1? What does it mean? What does it look like? Where does this live? The nice thing is in Help Central, if you just look up graphics cheat sheet, we have a really comprehensive list of every graphic that you can have in your event. It lists out if the graphic appears on desktop, mobile, or both. It also gives you a recommended size. I could not suggest more. Use that cheat sheet as like your holy grail for graphics. If I scroll back up, we have styling options. Within each event, you can have an accent color. That accent color just has to be an HTML color code. And I see a hand. Is that Diane?
Yeah, sorry, I missed your, what did you say was the limit of 14 days before the event? I know you said it and I tried to write it down and then I missed that detail.
It's okay. So the integration, once you add in that code from Cvent, it's going to run every 60 minutes until the day before the event begins. Then it'll
Okay.
pick up every 15 minutes. When your event ends, it reverts back to 60 minutes.
Okay.
And then it does that for 14 days. Day 15, we stop importing information.
Okay, so from 14 days all the way up to the event, is that right? Yeah, okay, thank you.
But was that up to the event or after the event, Christina?
After the event, 14 days
Okay.
after. Yes.
Okay,
We start
thanks.
importing information once you put the code in the back office.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about
It's okay. We also have, like I said, that accent color. We have a mobile app theme. This is what your attendees will see kind of like at the top of the screen. These are 4 hard-coded options. Ribbons and scalloped, you are allowed to change the signature image, but those are your options. And all the way at the bottom, we have a desktop or website background. So the cool thing about our system is everything you do, it appears in both the dedicated app, but each event also generates its own microsite. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, do I need to create a site or do I? It's already there. You can use it if you want to. You don't have to use it if you don't. If we scroll back up, we go into the event details page. The event details.
I have a question. What do you mean by microsite? I don't understand.
No, I can show you because luckily you guys have a working example. So for the annual meeting, and Jennifer, were you able to attend the annual meeting or at least see the app?
Yes. Yep, I was there.
So you're familiar with the app. Well, the nice
Yeah.
thing is that it also has or creates right here this responsive website. This is, well, there we go. So this is the microsite. So I would have to log in for this event because it was access controlled, but everything that you saw in the mobile app, there's a desktop version as well. So if you guys want to have a virtual component for some of your events, because you're already entering the information once, it appears in 2 places. Again, this is an option that you can use and you can give out to your attendees if you want. If not, you can act like it doesn't exist.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I'm just trying to think of, I mean, I don't know what the rest of you all use, but I'm not very fond of the website. I helped do the website last year and it's Elementor. And so I'm wondering like, can we just have a link to this that lets people come in here and it'll look better than what the other is?
Definitely. And that's actually, again, jumping around a little bit, a recommendation we were going to bring to the CAB is that you think about building your site, meeting sites in Cvent, which will integrate automatically, as Christina has mentioned. And obviously that's the way we build the ABRF site that Kate coordinates, because that'll just, it's just be one seamless integration with registration as well as the event content.
Okay. Great.
Oh, that's great. So, Christina and Ken, if the event has been listed in Cvent, it can integrate and bring in the entire details.
So what is integrated is your registration. So
Mhm.
you
Oh, so
guys,
not the events. Okay.
Right.
so
You
it's
build
just,
a website. Yes. Mhm.
so the registration is what comes over. Everything else is, and let me just double check so I can be sure. Actually, no, I take that back. Hold on. I may have my mapping confused because we have quite a few customers that have integrations. And sometimes I get them crisscrossed. Your sessions and your speakers imported from Cvent. Your exhibitors did not. So that external key from Cvent, if you add it into the back office, that's going to import sessions, speakers, and registrants.
Okay. Session speakers and registrants. Okay.
Yes. My apologies.
No worries. Is there a chance that you could show us where in Cvent and what the GUID key that we're looking at? Do you have as an example?
So if we look at the annual meeting as an example and we click edit. So for the annual meeting, this was the external key or the GUID that we pulled or that we needed from Cvent. So once you guys have access to the back office, you'll also be able to see this as an example. So you'll know, you're looking for an alphanumeric string. I believe it's like what, 10 or 12, digits long, and you know kind of what to look for.
Sounds good.
And then I'm actually just going to open up the back office one more time. That way I can keep the annual meeting in another tab in case we need to refer to it. All right, so we'll go back to where we were. So we were in the event details page. So this is, like I said, it's a host of images. And actually, let me try to log in. Let me see if I can log. Okay, you guys are going to watch me do kind of like a backwards way to log into your event or the annual meeting using what's called a login. It's essentially a login link. It's a way to assist virtual attendees to get them into the event by bypassing the standard login system. There's a help article for that. I know that was confusing to watch, but we'll talk about it, I promise. But this is, Jen, so you have a better example of what the microsite looks like. So this is the event microsite. And this is our event details page. So on desktop, you get the option for a header image. You get an option for a round logo. We can have a hero image here or an intro video. We have a description. Then we have our event name, date, and location. These are called banner ads. This is a really good banner ad, by the way. I think you guys should copy it for all of your events because this is beautiful. And then you guys are also able to have featured exhibitors. You can also have featured sponsors and featured speakers. The event details page in this format lives on desktop only. On mobile, you do have an event details page, but instead of having a header and a round image, it's actually just your event logo and then all of this verbiage right here. We're going to go back to the framework and we're going to talk about your access restrictions. So this is how we can control how your attendees access the app. Best practice is your event to be locked down to require a login with an approved email address, meaning that your attendees that import from Cvent log in using the email address that they use to register. That way, they should be able to get in. And then anyone who should not have access, if they enter in their email, they don't go anywhere. That's how you guys are able to protect your information. If your event is open to everyone, that means anyone that can download the ABRF app and anybody can see your event and its content. The last option, which requires authentication using a shared password. This requires you to set up a password, and then when you log in, you can use any email address, but you have to have the password listed here. This is great for testing purposes, as like if you guys are testing internally. I do not recommend using this with attendees because it will confuse them every time. You are required to add authentication instructions. So this is a way to help your attendees help themselves if they're stuck trying to log in. When it comes to your schedule, there's a few things here. You're able to add additional text to your schedule header. You can also add a header image. The header image appears on desktop only. You can also allow sponsorships of sessions to exhibitors and vice versa, meaning on the list view on desktop, those associated sponsors or exhibitors and sessions, on the session list view, there's going to be a small icon and it would say sponsored by and then that exhibitor. Session check-ins. This is a way that we can double check attendance. So we can, either use a tap of a button within the session profile, or we can scan a QR code to confirm, that Christina attended the mobile app overview training at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. We can also allow email reminders. Email reminders are great for your virtual attendees. If someone adds a session to their personalized agenda, they'll get an email. If they're using the mobile app, they're going to get a push notification. The push notification function is by default, so you guys don't have to mess with that. When it comes
Good.
to exhibitors,
One question.
yep,
Oh,
yep.
hi, Dan. Yeah.
Can you have the push notifications without the email?
Yes.
Because I think a lot of people wouldn't mind when a notification, but people get a lot of email and they get spam. Okay, great.
So push notifications, there are two separate functions. So yeah, you can have email reminders set to no. And then, like I said, if someone adds a session to their personal agenda, it's an automatic function that they're going to get a push notification as a reminder about 10 to 15 minutes before the session begins. As far as exhibitors are concerned, again, you can have header text and header image. You're able to do something called custom sorting. This allows you to take your exhibitors out of alphabetical order, which is the default, and you can actually put them into like a custom order if you want to highlight sponsorship tiers or if there's like a hierarchy. So the classic is you have like, platinum, gold, bronze, and silver. If you want all your platinum coupled together, gold, bronze, silver, we just enable custom sorting. And then you can do that within each exhibitor profile. We can enable contact buttons. I always say just leave these on, turn them to yes. That just gives you the option to add additional fields of information. Then we have exhibitor lead generation and exhibitor management portal. So this tool or your product license has lead generation built in, meaning if we allow it, what happens is we select the lead fields that we want to be included. This is registrant data. And the nice thing is, so for example, let's say RD Mobile is an exhibitor within your event. As a registrant, I'm associated to the RD Mobile profile. And I'm going to be collecting leads for RD Mobile. So with my iPhone, and this is my personal device, I also have a work device, so I can use either one. I can log into the app. And using the scanner in the app, let's say Ken walked up to my booth and wanted to know about the app. We chit chat and I can go ahead and scan his QR code in his app. He gets confirmation that he's been scanned by me. I get confirmation of the lead in my mobile device. And then the nice thing is from there, we can walk away and then I can reach out to him later on, or he can even decide to reach out to me. What's cool about lead generation with our tool is that it keeps it all within one platform. It can also count towards gamification. So if we're trying to really kind of force people's hands to, interact with the platform, but it also means that you don't have to buy additional equipment. You don't have to rent equipment. It's just the app that everyone's already using.
A quick question. How does it manage? And if you get to this elsewhere, it's fine. Opt in, opt out.
Yep.
For lead gen. Mm-hmm.
So the nice thing with opting in and out, it's actually pretty simple. So the opt-in is lead generation happens either by an exhibitor representative scanning an attendee or an attendee scanning the exhibitor booth's QR code. So the opt-in, opt-out function is truly I can't scan anyone if they don't allow me to. They have to physically give me their screen for me to scan it. On the reverse, the attendee has to actually scan the exhibitor QR code. So the opt-in and opt-out is kind of like, well, hey, you unlocked your phone, opened the QR code, and you gave it to me. It's a very intentional act.
Got it. Thank you.
Of course. Down at the bottom, we also have the exhibitor management portal. If enabled, we can allow our exhibitors to set up their own profiles. So if you guys trust your exhibitors, I know some organizations do, some don't, but we can give them access to log in and they can make changes to their profiles. As they save them, you can actually see what they're doing in the back office. It's kind of like one of those like Overlord Big Brother features that I really like, but it helps you guys kind of take some work off of your plate, but then you can still see what's going on. I see one person off mute. We have a question?
Yes, quick question. Sorry. Can we do this for a period? Like, let's say I want to set up a time period, like 15 days. My sponsors can, my vendors can change whatever they want to. And then after 15 days, that's it. I'm going to lock it down and make my edits on top. Is there a feature like that?
So there's not a timer per se, but all you would have to do is you would enable the feature. And then let's say like day 15 comes and you're like, okay, no more access to the portal. That's it.
Okay. And then I can go in and make changes as an admin on these things.
Correct.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. Scrolling back up, we have social content. So a heads up, our platform does encourage your attendees to do some social networking. Approval, best practice is that users are known to the event, meaning that you uploaded a registrant roster, because we don't want, a regular Joe Schmo to come in and troll your event and add comments and reach out to people in directory and all that weird stuff. Haven't seen it in 3.5 years, but the world's crazy and we never know.
Right.
Attendee roster. Best practice is that email addresses should be hidden. Your attendees, when they log in for the first time, will be prompted to allow themselves to display in the directory, show their email addresses, and be available for direct messaging. Once they log in, they can always go back and change those settings within their profile.
And those are those are discrete choices?
Yes, those are three.
Things?
Yes, those are 3 distinct options with radio buttons that they can select.
Thank
you.
We can also.
Sorry. And these are the way you're setting it up right now. You just, they're all defaulted to no. You have to make a conscious effort to say yes.
Yes. So it's very much so like you have to click yes, I want to see in the directory. Click yes to be available for messaging. Click yes to it's the appear in the directory, available for messaging, and display my email address. Yes.
Thank you.
Of course. We can restrict access to profiles by a role. So registrant roles are a way that we can say, hey, this group of people should see this content. Anyone that's not in that group can't see the content. And roles are set up someplace else, so don't get too confused because that's in another area. And then we have business card exchange. So it's similar to lead generation, but let's say I'm not an exhibitor rep. I'm just a regular old attendee. Ken, I'm going to pick on you again. Let's say we're chit-chatting over coffee and it's like, oh, hey, I want to catch up with Ken later. Seems like a great guy. So if I scan his QR code, what'll happen is I'll get his info. He'll get mine. We'll both be prompted. We'll have an area where we can add in like a little note. From there, we just save it. And again, we walk away and now we can catch up later and nobody had to dig for it. Like, that last, business card that's like crusty in the bottom of a suitcase or something, or a handbag or a briefcase.
Oh, wait. So I think that might have been one of our, so if you scan Ken's, your stuff automatically goes to Ken. He doesn't have to scan you too.
Correct. So one
Okay,
scan.
no wonder I was getting 2 every time because I would at the meeting I would scan the person back and I'm like, why did I get 2 of them?
Yeah.
Okay, now I understand.
That's funny. Good.
Yeah.
From here, we have registrant badges. So we do offer it's like a one-off badge printing solution. It's not for bulk printing. It's like an emergency use kind of only type of thing. I won't spend any time badgering about it, but we do have help documentation if you guys are interested. Gamification. So I love gamification because it really does force people's hand to try to get them to play with the app. So we have scoring criteria. You guys can enable and disable different actions and you can assign a point value. You can have a sponsor for the game. You can add in your own rules and prizes. I always notice people go crazy for a $25 Amazon gift card. I know I go feral for those. So highly recommend it as a prize. And then we also have eligibility. So we can select certain roles to say this role cannot participate in gamification. We can also have an end date because I don't know about you guys, but if I know that there's a game, I will sneak in as many points as I can. So the game end date is for people like me that are trying to, ramp up their points to get that $25 gift card.
So I would imagine one application of this is something like a scavenger hunt, right? Where you have to check in with so many exhibitors or whatever behavior you want to incentivize, right?
Correct. And then the nice thing is that this appears on both desktop and mobile, and it also shows you like the leaderboard. So it'll show you who's in first place, second, and third, and then the after first, second, and third, it's the top 97 players. And then it'll also show you your rules, your prizes, the actions you can do, and how many points you can earn. If we scroll back up, I promise we're almost at the end of this part. We have advertising. It's exactly that. Ads. You can enable those, and then you have them in your platform. Beacons. From the Jurassic era, they're dead, so we'll leave them in the grave. And then terminology modifications. You can replace verbiage throughout the platform. I have no idea where all of these live. I mess with them every time I have to use them. So it's always one of those, like, I always tell everyone, just test it out. From here, you would click create. One thing that
A quick question.
Oh,
Sorry. On the advertising, is that what advertising is that? Is it advertising for our sponsors or vendors or some other advertising?
it can be whatever you like it to be. So it can be for sponsors. It can be, in this case, this is an ad, but just app tip. You can highlight your own organization. The sky's the limit. One thing I want
And I
to
saw the app tips kept repeating. So can we, is it like multiple ads that can be from different vendors and it'll keep scaling?
You can have more than one ad. How it works is every time you navigate to a new page, you're going to see a new ad. So it doesn't rotate on a timer. It's as you navigate. The more ads you have, the more times you'll need to rotate to view those ads. Sometimes people only have 1 or 2 ads, so then it kind of looks like it's not changing, but it's not because there's only like 1, 2, maybe 3.
And this is only for the desktop version.
Desktop and mobile app.
Oh, okay. But I thought you said for the mobile app, it comes up as a small icon on the side for a session. That's different.
Yes, that's if you associate sessions and exhibitors together. That's a small icon. App tips are not app tips. Banner ads. There we go. Are a little different.
Thank you.
Christina, what you're showing us here is just sort of the if I understand correctly, the management of the graphics for the ads, the whole piece around the paying for them and registering to have an ad. Obviously, that would probably be done through Cvent, right? In terms of the financial piece and everything else.
Correct.
Yeah.
One
So
thing
it
that
could
I
be
did,
something else to sell, right? For the chapter leaders, just to,
Yeah.
and we had
just
that.
jumping
Some of
off.
some of you saw that we had that in the daily emails at the annual meeting. Those were advertising options. We generated a few $1,000s for that. So they're for sponsors, it's visibility, and they're in your face, so to speak, on a persistent basis, and there's value to that for them. So, all right, sorry for that sidetrack.
it's okay.
Thanks, Ken. Just to build on that question, is there a way or an easy way for us to pull sponsor information from Cvent directly?
So the data connector isn't configured to import exhibitor information. So what you could do is, if I'm not mistaken, in Cvent, you can kind of like download all of the like sponsor information into a CSV. You would download the CSV from Cvent. You would have to open up one of our CSVs that you get from our back office, and you need to copy the information from Cvent into the spreadsheet that our back office produces. And then you'd save and upload that, and that's how you could get them over in bulk.
Let me ask this in a different fashion. You have a event key that you have, that GUID that links with it, right? We have 2 different sites, one for general session registration and one for sponsor registrations, just for vendors basically to sign up. Do you have options for multiple? Is that a feasibility? Like we have one for just importing sponsors as such, as a second GUID option.
That is a good question. Let's see. So it looks like each event is only configured to accept one GUID. So you would have to pick and choose.
So that download import process, the
Is
CSV
manual.
process is the answer, right?
Yeah,
Because they're set up, as everybody knows, they're set up as separate events within the cVent, right? And it's a one-to-one, one event in
Yes.
cVent means one instance in the app, right?
Correct.
Yes, yes, and please, that is a feature request, because right now it's duplicating labor for us, because we have the exact same information in cVent. So if there is any chance you can pull that with an external cVent key, that would be awesome.
I will gladly look into it. And then Ken, I can
Thank you.
follow up with you on that one.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So circling back to our event shell, one thing I wanted to highlight is in the event that you guys are missing information or there's an error, the back office will give you a bright red message to say that you messed up. So the nice thing is it won't let you move on and make a mistake. So it's nice because it's hard to mess things up. So in this case, I didn't enter any information. And of course, it's going to tell me what are we saving. So this gives me the opportunity to go back and either correct my mistakes or, give up, throw in the towel and click cancel. And in this case, I'm going to click cancel because I have nothing to save right now. So we're going to cancel this one. And then let's say that I actually created an event, right? I created a whole framework. I clicked create. When you generate an event, the screen is going to change and it's going to look like this, minus the graphics and all of these numbers here. So the nice thing is when you create your event, that framework that you made is always accessible by clicking edit event. Then you can come back in, you can make changes. So the nice thing as well is you can make changes to your event before the event happens, during the event, or after the event. The other thing is when you create a new event, you're going to see a green button up here that says publish. That publish button, all it does is make the event visible within the mobile app and on the responsive website. It doesn't lock you into any settings. So if you publish your event, it's not that you can't change things. It's just actually published within the app. Does that make sense? Okay.
Mhm.
So moving on from that topic, we have manage menu. You guys have complete control over your menu structures. So you can come in here, you can move things around. You can decide what order you want things to display, and you can rename these groups, rename the menu items. If you guys create additional menu items that are custom, they would actually appear once you create them in this right-hand side. You drag and drop it over to the left, give it an icon, and for example, core value proposition additional surveys. This is a custom item. It was given a pencil icon. You can give it any icon you want. It's totally optional. The only thing is you have to choose from this list. Anything that you do in the back office, please remember that nothing auto saves. So if you add, let's say you do a whole bunch of work in here and you walk away and then your computer shuts down, and you don't click save, it's gone. And there's nothing I can do to get it back. So always click save. If I click cancel, you have a preview code. So if you guys are working on your event and you choose not to publish it and you just want to keep it hidden, you can do that. What you would do though is within the ABRF app, you would actually in the search field, you would enter in this preview code. This will allow you to view your content as you're working on it before publishing it. Once you publish your event, you'll never have to use this preview code again. And the preview code is specific to each event. So if you guys are trying to cross-check someone else's event, you do have to go into that event and pull the preview code. Utilities gives us access to uploading our content in bulk. So the nice thing is if you want to do things in bulk, you would just download a spreadsheet, add your information, save that spreadsheet, go ahead and upload it. You're good to go. A key thing to note is you will never upload the same spreadsheet twice. If you do, you run the risk of duplicating data. You can upload in bulk. You cannot delete in bulk. It's very important.
And are there templates for what the spreadsheets should contain, for example, with sessions or speakers and so forth?
Yeah, so that's actually a really good question. So if we download the spreadsheet and we open it up, we'll show in Finder because I don't want it to open in numbers. But here we go. You guys can tell I open up a lot of spreadsheets all day long. Spreadsheets are, I think, like a part-time job within my job. But we'll give it a second to open. So your spreadsheets for all of your content areas, it's going to have columns, and those columns are going to let you know what you need to add. Now, you don't want to make changes to the column headers in any way, shape, or form. The other thing to be mindful of is your sessions and your speakers and registrants are coming over from Cvent. If you want to make changes to sessions, speakers, or registrants, you are going to do that in Cvent. Wait about an hour, let the data connector query, and then you'll see the changes in the back office. If you make a change in the back office and the integration runs, the work that you did will go bye-bye, because it's going to revert back to what you have in Cvent.
Got it.
Now for your exhibitors, you have a spreadsheet similar to this. Column A is the ID that's generated by the back office. Don't worry about it. You would just add in all of the relevant information for your exhibitors if you want to, save and upload, and you're good to go. We also have reports. If I click the button, it's going to take forever for it to generate, and I don't want to freeze my computer. But you do have reports that are generated based off of activity in the platform. And then admin utilities, it just tells you when your event was created and when it was published. The delete button is for RD Mobile only. You guys won't see it, so don't worry about it. And then we have all of our stuff on the left-hand side. I know we've got about 14 minutes left, so we're going to run through this, but I promise the help documentation, if you go in order, like I said earlier, it runs through all of these things line by line. Notifications. These are push notifications. You are able to schedule these in advance. As they post, they'll appear in the posted area. A few things to be mindful of. Title, 50 characters or less, because it's a small screen on mobile devices. Priority, that's going to be if your notification badge is a bullet point or an exclamation point. We can restrict visibility based on a role. Again, roles are groups of people that should see content. So we restrict access to a role, not from a role. We can post our notification either immediately or in the future, and it will post it in the future based on the time zone set in your event framework. We can send push notifications to the Association of Biomolecular Research Facilities app or the Engagefully app. Little tidbit here. I lied earlier a little bit. When you enter stuff in the back office, it actually goes to 3 places. It goes to the responsive website. It goes to your dedicated app. And there's also a container app that's like kind of like a backup app. So in the event that anything happens to the ABRF app, the Engagefully app functions the same exact way. It houses all of our customers. And so there's always a way that somebody can access your event. And then you have your content. This is a place to go crazy. I love notifications in the content area. This is a great sponsorship opportunity. So if you guys have lunch sponsored by somebody or coffee, this is a great way to shout them out. Even if you guys have opening or closing remarks that you want to give to your attendees, another way that you can say, thanks to, RD Mobile for, sponsoring our app and something like that. So another way that we could rake in some cash. I'm going to click cancel. And then I'm just going to highlight here, if we had upcoming notifications, this is where they'd be listed, posted or below. One thing that I get questions on all the time is this timestamp right here. This isn't running from 9 a.m. to 7 something. This is actually just the time difference between the time zone that you guys selected for your event and the time zone that the back office runs in. Because the back office is set in Greenwich Mean Time and Pacific Time is 7 hours behind, which is spicy. Sessions and speakers, because these are being imported from Cvent, you have nothing to do. You can just skip them. It's pretty easy. With your exhibitors, you are able to create as many exhibitors as you'd like. You can either add exhibitors one by one, and this is how you would do it. You would just add in the profile and add in any and all relevant information. You could also bring these in through the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is almost a one-for-one match to this profile. The main difference is the spreadsheet does not have an area for branding, so a header, image, and background. It also doesn't have an area for a custom ad. which is an ad that lives within the profile, versus a banner ad that's visible throughout the mobile app. Your exhibitor lead settings and then descriptions. You guys are also able to generate something called tags. Tags are a way that we can categorize your exhibitors. So we can categorize them by sponsorship level or industry or product type or material. I've seen exhibitors categorized by region. You can kind of go crazy here. Just to highlight with your tags, to create them, you just click manage. In this case, we have sponsorship level set up. That's the group that you click by adding this button. And then we can add additional tags by clicking add tags. In this case, we had gold, platinum, signature, and silver. Again, you guys are lucky because you have a baseline to work with. So a lot of customers don't get that. A lot of customers have to create their first event off the top of their heads.
A quick question on the tags. Are these tags that the admins create and then they are visible to everybody, or are they personal tags that each user can create on how they want to categorize?
These are tags that admins create that are visible to everyone. So from here, you have your listed and known participating users. The main thing to know here, listed users are the people that have been imported and should have access to your event. Known participating users are those that have actually logged in and accessed the event. So it's a great way to just quickly tell what your conversion numbers are like. Invitation and follow-up emails. So any of you guys that attended the annual meeting, you guys probably got an email from No Reply at RD Mobile. And within that email, it gave you information about the event, and it also included links to access the event. Again, you guys are lucky because this is an amazing template. So that way you guys, I would copy and paste exactly what Kate added in here, and I would put it in all of my events, or at least some rendition of this, because this is chef's kiss, the exact information you want to make sure your attendees have when they're trying to log into the app. And I cannot stress this enough. The devices must be running specific softwares or operating systems ahead of time. If it's an iOS device and it's not on 16.0 or later, they're going to have issues. If it's an Android and it's not Android 6.0, they're going to have issues. So highly recommend, even if in like your know before you go emails that you guys send out from like your email client, I would also add that piece in.
Great.
From here, actually one last thing about invitation emails. When you create them, you can send tests. There is an option once you publish your event to activate your invitation. It would live right here. Once you activate the invitation email, it's automatically sent out to all of your listed registrants, and it will automatically send itself to any new registrants that are imported from Cvent. So you want to make sure if you click activate that you are ready for people to log into the app, because if not, once you activate an invitation email, it cannot be deactivated. Roles and content access. So this is an area where we can add our roles. You guys can have as many roles as you'd like. If you guys have roles in Cvent, what you would do is you would add the matching role just by clicking add new role. And then when your attendees come over, it'll automatically map to the correct role. There's nothing else you guys have to do. Dashboard promoted post. So the dashboard promoted post, this is a static ad space on mobile only, and it lives within the dashboard menu item. You can have as many as you'd like, but it's important to note, only one can appear at a time, and it has to be manually enabled or disabled through the back office. Dashboard promoted posts are similar to ads in that the image size is the same, but the main difference is only one can be enabled at a time here versus your ads. These will actually change, like I said earlier, as you rotate through the platform. Again, with ads, you can have as many as you'd like. Social content. If someone flags a post, this is where you can moderate and delete the post. You can also export your timeline content. So we have a social timeline menu item where people can interact. And then each session also has a timeline where people can post messages. Additional menu items. These are, think of them as like free-for-alls. So we can have just regular, let's see. Let's pick one. Okay, here we go. So we can have a menu, an additional menu item. So that's just plain text, right? We can also have menu items that link to another page. So you guys have options here of what you want to do. The additional menu items also give you the ability to have an RSS feed if you'd like as well. Maps are maps. You can have a PDF or an image. You can have as many maps as you'd like. It lives in a menu item where they're all together. I always say add them in so people don't get lost. Beacons, again, are from the Jurassic era, so we will leave them where they lay. And then last but not least, we have content type. Content types, think of them as like a really, really, really robust custom menu item that we can use to associate to sessions or speakers or exhibitors. We can use these to list posters or poster sessions or abstracts. Custom content type in and of itself is like a good 30, 45 minute-ish conversation, and we've got 4 minutes left. So if there's any interest in custom content, in Help Central, if you go to our knowledge base, we do have really, really good documentation on these. Because if I try to squeeze in a 30-minute conversation in 4 minutes, all of y'all's heads are going to explode and you're all going to look at me like I'm crazy. And I know I've packed in a whole bunch of information, but with the last, I'm trying to leave like 5 to 10-ish minutes at the end, but we've got 4. So if anybody has questions, I'll be happy to take them.
This might be more for Ken. So I guess maybe who controls the CVent? Is that, because I've not been on the
You
CVent
do.
page.
You do. Each of the
I do,
chapters,
okay.
each of the
Okay.
chapters has a login,
Yeah.
usually a shared login, where they can go in and yeah, access everything in CVent and whatnot. So,
But we
yeah,
ask, we fill out a template for AMR to set it up, and then we can run reports and look at our registrations. And they set up the actual CVent itself and the websites and stuff. So we can access the information, but we don't do a lot once we're in there, except for some people who are very advanced users and know what they're doing.
Okay, thanks.
And then I see some hands. So I don't know who raised their hand first, but I'm happy to answer.
Sequin first. I see Sequin on my list first. Sequin.
Okay. Oh, I think you're muted.
There we
Yeah, I
go.
think that is the first.
Oh.
Yeah, I raised my hand a lot.
All right, Dan, you're up.
Oh, okay. I have a couple questions. This is maybe for Ken. Do you know how many people ABRF devoted to having this app up to date? Like, how many people did it take?
Kate did it on top of doing a lot of other stuff. And,
Okay.
you know, it was the first time. So there's always that adoption curve. And all of you, if you choose to work with this, will have that experience as well. But this was one of the pieces that she does. And she works for ABRF plus other organizations. So I don't want to discount the lift, but it was something that she was able to do while doing other things, not only for ABRF, but for other groups as well.
And the other one is there a way to, so I heard a tale of woe that there is one or more sponsors who registered as registrants and then were able to get the whole list of attendees from ABRF from the app, and then like didn't come to the conference at all. Is there a way to prevent the attendees from seeing all the other attendees, at least until like the day of, you know, the conference maybe? you know, when we've already collected the money from the person.
No, and that's a really great question. So if we look at the back office, so what I would recommend in that case, we want to make sure that we have, like, for example, like an exhibitor role set up. If the exhibitor role doesn't exist in Cvent, it's okay. We can actually manually add that in and just click add new role. And then we can download the registrant spreadsheet, and the far right-hand side, you're going to see a column, and it'll say like role : registrant. For anyone in that spreadsheet that, not registrant, we can say exhibitor. For anyone in that spreadsheet that has the exhibitor role, you could just write true in that cell. Everyone else, you can just leave it blank. You upload that spreadsheet. Now we have a group of people in an exhibitor role. We can then take that role and we can go to manage menu, go to the directory, and we can say we can restrict access to, let's say, our registrant role and our event staff and our exec board, right? But those that are in the exhibitor role are not in that list. And then from there, we can decide, okay, if you don't have this role, should you be locked? And just see, like, if you click on it, you just see a message that says you shouldn't have access, or should the directory not even exist?
So it
And
sounds
that's-
like short answer is yes, that could be managed, right, Dan?
Yes, it can be.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just to make sure that, you know, your exhibitors can't see the directory and then
Sure.
pull everyone's information and then not show up.
That doesn't impact their scanning ability though. So
No.
exhibitors still be able to scan people who opt in with that exhibitor.
Yes, they'd still be able to scan, they just wouldn't be able to see the directory.
Okay, that's great.
Now I lost track of who is in what order. So we're going to go Aaron next and then Sequin. Sorry. Aaron.
Yeah, thanks. I had a question on what would be the difference between the lead retrieval and the like the friend sharing? Like, does that provide the same level of information between the two?
That's a great question. The difference is, okay, so the main difference is when it comes to exhibitor lead generation, when it generates a lead, what it does is it generates a report. So you as the back office admin can come in and you can see, you know, how many, like what exhibitor representatives, like how many leads did they scan? And it gives you an ability, it gives you visibility, right? Whereas the digital business card exchange, that's just attendee to attendee. So although you can also see that in reporting, the main difference is, and now it's let me pull up a visual because that might make more sense. I'm just going to hop into a sales demo. So when it comes to exhibitor lead generation, I'm actually going to select RD Mobile, for example. So you have to have an exhibitor profile created. And then what also has to happen is you have to associate a registrant to that exhibitor profile to generate a lead. That's the main difference. So that way, when those scans are taking place, it's me and Christina scanning on behalf of RD Mobile versus me, Christina, as an attendee, you know, just catching up with Ken over coffee.
But are you still able to do both? So are you able to capture leads as well as catch up with Ken having coffee?
You can. If you do that, it is very intentional in that you have to open up the app, you have to open up the QR code scanner, and then you have to click on your personal QR code, and that opens up like a slightly different image. And then that's how we can do attendee to attendee scanning.
So they're just different spots in the app. The difference between lead retrieval and the business card would be different spots in the app.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
But
Thank you.
both actions do appear in reporting.
Okay.
Just
Thanks
have
for
a-
waiting, Sequin.
Yeah,
You're next.
I just have a quick question since we're running out of time. So I might have missed this. So does each chapter have our own app from the App Store, or everything lives in the ABRF app? It's
Christina?
starting. It's so every chapter
Yeah.
is content inside the ABRF.
Correct. These are multiple events within the ABRF app in the App Store.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. Thank you.
Hope that was the right answer, Christina.
It was the perfect answer.
Thank you.
Of course. And then Diane, you added in the chat, does the app have the function to be able to check in attendees when they arrive? So we don't have like an overall event check-in functionality, but what you can do and what a lot of other customers do is they create a check-in session, right? Or they'll call it like a registration and help desk session. And then when people are coming into the help desk, they can just, if they have the app already downloaded, they can go ahead and scan the QR code for the session and they can check in. If they don't have the app downloaded, then it's a great way to say, hey, before you keep going, let's get you downloaded, let's get you logged in, then scan to check in. So it kind of forces people to download the app if they already have it ahead of the event.
Okay. Yeah, we just, as people arrive, we just like to know who is actually there and who didn't show up.
Right.
Gives us a way of doing that without printing out a whole bunch of things and manually checking them off. So
Right.
could probably work with that where we check them in somehow in that particular session. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Well, thanks everyone. And thank you, Christina. Really, really helpful. So please think about this over the weekend, reflect on it, send me your questions so we can compile them if there are, because chances are and then we'll get everybody set up. We'll of course share this recording with everyone here and those who weren't here. And then we'll identify what next steps might be. I'm looking very closely at everyone from Caesar because not everybody knows you're first up. And I think you had raised your hand about being interested in this. So
Yes.
you're going to be our trial subjects everybody's known this from the beginning, right? So let's plan to work closely together on how we can do this, optimize Cvent, work with all the things that were presented here today, and let's start compiling our questions. Okay.
Yeah. Krishna, if I can have a very quick question before we sign off, the app for each session, right? Let's say there's a session. Does it have a place for? I'm calling it gamification, but can we have a poll or can we have questions coming in through? Can us as organizers have a poll, and can the attendees ask a question through the app?
We don't have a way to collect questions via the app. What you can do is you can add in, bye Dan, I see people are hopping off. But what we can do is we can add in polling. If you guys are using like SurveyMonkey or something like that, you can add the link from SurveyMonkey into an additional menu item, and then your attendees can click on it and they can take the poll.
Or Slido
Perfect.
would be
Or
another
Slido.
example. And
Yes.
folks had used that at the meeting. Yeah. All
Thank
right. Well,
you.
thanks again, everyone. Christina, thank you
Bye.
very much.
My
Appreciate it.
pleasure. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Take
Bye.
care.